There comes a time in every person's life when they are faced with a choice: to keep fighting for something that's already breaking them, or to walk away not in defeat, but in power. This is not about giving up. This is about rising above. You see, dignity isn't loud. It doesn't scream, it doesn't beg, it doesn't chase. Dignity is quiet strength. It's grace in the face of disrespect. It's choosing yourself when others refuse to see your worth. When people mistreat you, when they take you for granted, when they forget your value, you don't fight for a seat at a table where you're not respected. Stand up, straighten your crown, and walk away. Dignity is one of the most profound sources of personal power a person can possess. It is the quiet, unwavering force that keeps you grounded when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. Many people mistake power for dominance or control, but true power comes from within, from the ability to stand tall without needing to belittle others or demand their approval. It comes from knowing your worth and refusing to let anyone diminish it. When we talk about dignity, we are referring to something far deeper than surface-level pride or ego. Dignity is about respecting yourself enough to walk away from situations, people, or environments that harm your spirit. It is the strength to maintain your integrity even when it would be easier to compromise your values for acceptance or temporary gain. This is where real power lies, in your ability to say no more and mean it. In life, it's easy to get trapped in the idea that fighting for your place means staying no matter what. Society often glorifies endurance and perseverance, but endurance without respect for oneself can be a dangerous trap. There is a difference between perseverance that builds you up and stubbornness that wears you down. Dignity helps you see that line clearly. When you choose to leave a toxic environment or a relationship where you are undervalued, it is not an act of surrender, but an act of empowerment. Walking away with grace means you are choosing peace over chaos and self-respect over the desperate need for validation. It means you are placing your well-being above the opinions or actions of others. Holding on to something or someone that doesn't appreciate you drains your energy, your creativity, and your happiness. It's like carrying a heavy burden that only you can let go of. But letting go doesn't mean you have failed. It means you are wise enough to recognize what no longer serves your growth. Dignity fuels this wisdom, and through it, you reclaim your power. People who truly understand dignity don't lash out or seek revenge. Instead, they walk away calmly, knowing that their worth is untouchable. This kind of strength commands respect far more than anger or retaliation ever could. It sends a message that you are whole and complete without anyone else's approval, and that you will not allow yourself to be diminished for anyone's benefit. Staying in a place where you're not valued often comes from fear of loneliness, fear of change, or fear of starting over. But dignity is what helps you confront those fears head on. It gives you the courage to believe that something better is waiting for you, even if you can't see it yet. This courage is a powerful force that can transform your life. To walk away with dignity also means to take responsibility for your own happiness and future. It means acknowledging that you deserve to be treated with kindness, respect, and love, and not settling for anything less. This is not arrogance, but a healthy self-awareness that strengthens your spirit and guides your decisions. When you embrace dignity as power, you stop seeking validation from external sources. Instead, you build a strong foundation within yourself. This foundation is unshakable because it is based on truth, the truth of your own value, your own voice, and your own path. No matter what happens around you, this inner power remains intact. In the end, dignity is not just about how others see you, but how you see yourself. It is the ultimate form of respect. You can offer yourself a commitment to living authentically, boldly, and with self-love, and that kind of power changes everything. Self-respect is the foundation upon which a meaningful and fulfilling life is built. It is the understanding that you deserve to be treated with kindness, fairness, and dignity, regardless of the circumstances. When you respect yourself, you set a clear boundary that says, "I am worthy," and you refuse to accept anything less. This boundary is essential because it protects your mental, emotional, and even physical well-being. Without it, you risk allowing others to dictate your value based on their actions or opinions. When someone consistently disrespects you, it chips away at that foundation of self-respect. At first you may brush it off, hoping it's just a misunderstanding or a bad day for them. But repeated disrespect is never accidental. It's a pattern that reveals how they truly see you. And once you recognize this, the choice becomes clear. Do you continue to allow this treatment, or do you take a stand by walking away? Walking away is one of the most courageous acts of self-love you can perform. It says you are done compromising your worth for the sake of keeping peace or avoiding conflict. It means you are choosing yourself, your happiness, your peace of mind, and your dignity over the toxic energy of someone who refuses to treat you right. This decision can be difficult, especially when emotions, memories, or obligations weigh heavily on your heart, but it is necessary. Self-respect demands that you honor your own feelings and experiences. When someone disrespects you, it's not just about what they say or do. It's about how it makes you feel and what it tells you about the relationship. Your emotions are valid, and respecting yourself means listening to those feelings and acting on them. Ignoring the pain caused by disrespect only prolongs suffering and weakens your sense of self. Furthermore, self-respect is closely tied to self-awareness. It requires you to reflect honestly on your boundaries and values. What behavior will you accept? What behavior will you not? When someone crosses those lines, it's a signal that the relationship is unhealthy or unbalanced. Respecting yourself means having the clarity and courage to enforce those boundaries, even if it means walking away. Many people fear walking away because they worry about loneliness, judgment, or the unknown future. However, staying in a situation where you're disrespected leads to a slow erosion of self-esteem and confidence. Over time, this can create a cycle of self-doubt and pain that becomes much harder to break free from. Choosing to leave is a declaration that you will no longer tolerate less than you deserve. It's also important to understand that walking away is not an act of revenge or bitterness. It is a peaceful, deliberate choice that reflects your commitment to your own well-being. This act of self-love does not require you to explain yourself or justify your decision to anyone else. The most important relationship you have is the one with yourself, and protecting that relationship should always come first. Self-respect also empowers you to attract healthier relationships. When you refuse to accept disrespect, you send a clear message to the world about your standards. People who value and respect you will naturally gravitate toward you, while those who don't will be pushed away. This creates space for positive connections and growth, allowing you to build a supportive network of people who uplift and inspire you. Moreover, self-respect enhances your emotional resilience. By choosing to walk away from disrespect, you demonstrate to yourself that you can take control of your life and make decisions that honor your true worth. This builds confidence and inner strength, enabling you to face future challenges with grace and courage. In essence, self-respect is the compass that guides your choices and shapes your life journey. It is the non-negotiable principle that protects you from harm and opens the door to peace, happiness, and fulfillment. When you walk away from those who disrespect you, you are not giving up, you are standing up for yourself in the most powerful way possible. Your peace of mind is one of the most precious and fragile things you possess. It's the calm center amidst the chaos, the sanctuary where your spirit rejuvenates and your soul breathes freely. Unfortunately, many people live their lives giving away this peace too easily to situations, to toxic relationships, or to the negative energy of others. But here's the truth: you don't owe anyone your peace. It is yours to protect, cherish, and guard fiercely. Too often, we fall into the trap of trying to please others at the expense of our own well-being. We tolerate disrespect, endure unnecessary drama, or stay silent when we should speak up, all because we believe it's our responsibility to keep the peace for someone else. But peace isn't a currency to be spent on others' demands or emotional turbulence. It is a personal state of being that must be preserved above all else. Allowing others to dictate your emotional state is a dangerous path. It means you're handing over control of your happiness to people who may not have your best interests at heart. This can lead to emotional exhaustion, anxiety, and a sense of helplessness. When you give someone else the power to disturb your peace, you are essentially surrendering your emotional sovereignty, and that is a costly mistake. Protecting your energy starts with recognizing your boundaries and knowing when to enforce them. It means saying no to interactions, conversations, or environments that drain you. It means removing yourself from situations where your feelings are dismissed or invalidated. This can be uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to putting others first, but it is essential for maintaining your mental and emotional health. You might worry that protecting your peace means being selfish or uncaring. In reality, it is an act of self-respect and self-care. When you prioritize your peace, you become stronger, more centered, and better equipped to support others in a healthy way. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and by preserving your energy, you ensure you have the capacity to give your best. Another important aspect of guarding your peace is learning to detach emotionally from toxic influences. This doesn't mean ignoring problems or pretending everything is fine. It means choosing not to let negativity penetrate your core. Developing emotional detachment can be challenging, but it allows you to respond to difficult people or situations with calmness rather than reactive anger or sadness. Remember, your peace is not negotiable. It is a fundamental part of your well-being that should not be compromised for anyone or anything. This includes family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers who try to bring drama or conflict into your life. Setting this non-negotiable boundary is a way of telling yourself and the world that your inner harmony matters. In practice, protecting your peace might mean limiting contact with toxic individuals, avoiding unnecessary arguments, or simply taking time for yourself when life becomes overwhelming. It could mean creating daily rituals that nurture your calm, such as meditation, journaling, or spending time in nature. These practices strengthen your ability to maintain peace regardless of external circumstances. It's also important to recognize that protecting your peace is a continuous process. Life will always present challenges, and there will always be people who test your boundaries. The key is to remain vigilant and committed to your own well-being. When you slip into old patterns of sacrificing your peace, gently remind yourself of your worth and why maintaining peace is essential. By protecting your peace, you reclaim control over your life. You no longer react impulsively to every negative situation, but respond with intentionality and grace. This empowers you to create a life where your happiness is not dependent on others, but rooted deeply in your own sense of calm and balance. Closure is often seen as the final chapter we need to write in order to heal from pain, betrayal, or disappointment. It's the moment when we get answers, apologies, or recognition that what happened to us mattered. Many of us believe that without closure, we are stuck in a cycle of hurt and confusion, unable to move forward. But the hard truth is that closure is not always something we receive from others. Sometimes it is something we must create for ourselves. Waiting for closure from someone who hurt you is like waiting for a storm to pass when you have no control over the weather. You can't force an apology, a confession, or a change of heart. People may never admit their mistakes, or they may choose to ignore the impact of their actions altogether. Holding out hope for these things can keep you trapped in emotional limbo, constantly revisiting wounds that refuse to heal. The choice to find peace, despite the absence of closure, is an act of radical self-empowerment. It means deciding that your happiness and well-being are not contingent on someone else's ability to make amends. You take control of your narrative, choosing to let go of resentment and pain even if the other person doesn't acknowledge their wrongdoing. Peace, unlike closure, is something you can cultivate internally. It comes from forgiveness, not necessarily forgiveness of the other person, but forgiveness of yourself for holding on too long, for expecting too much, and for allowing the pain to define you. Forgiveness frees you from the burden of bitterness and anger, opening the door for healing and growth. This process is not easy. It requires confronting your emotions honestly and allowing yourself to feel grief, anger, and disappointment fully before releasing them. Many people try to rush through their pain or suppress it, but true peace is found through acceptance of what happened, acceptance of what could have been, and acceptance of what will be. Choosing peace also means setting boundaries around your emotional energy. It may require distancing yourself from people or situations that constantly reopen old wounds. It means protecting your heart from further harm and giving yourself permission to move forward, even if the story remains unfinished or unresolved. An important part of this journey is self-compassion. You must be gentle with yourself as you navigate the complexities of loss and healing. Understand that it's okay to have setbacks and moments of doubt. Healing is not linear, and peace doesn't mean forgetting or pretending everything is okay. It means creating space for new beginnings beyond the pain. It's also helpful to remember that closure, when it does come, is a bonus, not a requirement. Sometimes the universe grants us closure through unexpected means, such as time, distance, or new perspectives. Other times, closure arrives through our own growth and understanding, as we realize that what we once needed to hear no longer has power over us. Ultimately, peace is a choice we make every day. It is a commitment to prioritize our mental and emotional health over the desire for validation or recognition from others. This choice liberates us from the past and empowers us to live fully in the present. When you choose peace without closure, you reclaim your life. You break free from the chains of hurt and disappointment and step into a future defined by your strength, resilience, and hope. Walking away is often misunderstood as a sign of weakness or giving up. Society tends to glorify endurance, fighting through pain, and holding on no matter what. However, the reality is far more nuanced. Walking away, especially when your value is not being recognized, is one of the strongest, most courageous decisions you can make. It requires clarity, self-awareness, and immense strength to acknowledge when a situation no longer serves you and to take action to protect your well-being. Many people stay in toxic relationships, unhealthy jobs, or harmful environments because they believe that leaving means failure. They fear judgment from others or doubt their own ability to thrive without the familiar, even if it's damaging. But true strength lies in recognizing your worth and having the bravery to remove yourself from places or people that undermine it. Choosing to walk away is a profound act of self-respect. It's a statement that you value yourself enough not to settle for less than you deserve. This choice requires a deep understanding that your time, energy, and emotions are valuable resources that should be invested wisely. When you stay in situations where your worth isn't acknowledged, you're essentially giving away these precious resources for free. Walking away also demands emotional intelligence. It means understanding that clinging to something or someone who does not appreciate you only prolongs your pain and stunts your growth. It requires the ability to detach emotionally and think clearly about what is best for your long-term happiness rather than short-term comfort or fear of change. It takes courage to walk away because you are stepping into the unknown. You may feel vulnerable, uncertain, or scared, but this vulnerability is a powerful part of the process. It means you are being honest with yourself and choosing growth over stagnation. This kind of courage builds resilience and empowers you to face future challenges with confidence. Walking away doesn't mean you lack compassion or that you abandon people you care about. On the contrary, it often reflects a deep care for your own emotional health and a recognition that staying in a harmful situation benefits no one. It's an act of kindness toward yourself and sometimes toward others who need to learn the importance of respect. One of the hardest parts of walking away is dealing with guilt or self-doubt. You might question whether you could have done more or if you are being selfish. These feelings are natural, but they don't define your truth. Your value and dignity are not contingent on others' approval or circumstances. Walking away is a necessary boundary that preserves your integrity. In many ways, walking away is a form of empowerment because it gives you control over your life and choices. Instead of being stuck in a cycle of hurt or disappointment, you reclaim your agency and open yourself up to new opportunities and experiences that align with your true worth. It's important to remember that walking away is a process, not a one-time event. It may involve multiple steps, reflections, and moments of hesitation, but each step forward strengthens your sense of self and brings you closer to a life that honors your value. Ultimately, walking away when your value isn't recognized is a declaration of strength, not weakness. It is a powerful way of saying, "I am worth more," and it sets the stage for healing, growth, and a future filled with respect and dignity. Regret is a heavy emotion that weighs down those who fail to appreciate the value of what they had until it's gone. When you walk away from a relationship, situation, or environment with dignity, any regret that arises afterward belongs to the other party, not to you. This distinction is important because it shifts the emotional responsibility away from you and onto those who failed to recognize your worth in the first place. Often, people who lose someone valuable experience a deep sense of remorse and longing. They replay moments in their minds, wondering what they could have done differently or how things might have changed if they had treated you better. This regret can be painful, but it is a consequence of their choices and actions, something they must live with, not you. You, on the other hand, have already made your choice based on clarity and self-respect. Walking away with dignity means you acted from a place of strength and wisdom, not impulsiveness or weakness. You prioritized your well-being, peace, and growth, which are vital for your future happiness. Therefore, the weight of any remorse felt by others should not be yours to bear. It's important to understand that regret does not retroactively justify staying in a toxic or unappreciative situation. Just because someone regrets their actions later doesn't mean you were wrong to leave. The timing of regret is often too late to repair what has been damaged or to heal the pain caused. Moreover, carrying the burden of someone else's regret can be emotionally exhausting and unfair. It can trap you in guilt or second, guessing your decisions, preventing you from moving forward. Recognizing that their regret is their burden frees you from unnecessary emotional chains and helps you focus on your healing and growth. Regret also serves as a silent acknowledgement of their mistake. While they may not openly admit it, the pain of losing someone who walked away with dignity is a powerful reminder of their failure to value what they had. This acknowledgement, though unspoken, is a testament to the power of your decision to leave. In some cases, regret can lead to attempts at reconciliation or change, but this should never be the primary reason you stay or return. Your worth is not contingent on whether someone else learns their lesson. Your peace and dignity are more important than being a catalyst for someone else's growth. Walking away with dignity means you have no need to prove yourself or justify your actions. The silence or remorse from others speaks volumes without you having to say a word. This quiet strength often leaves a lasting impression that outshines any argument or confrontation. Remember that regret can be a painful teacher for those who lose you, but it should not become a source of pain for you. You have chosen to walk away because you respect yourself enough to seek better, healthier, and more fulfilling experiences. That decision reflects wisdom and courage. In the end, their regret is a reflection of their choices, not a reflection of your worth or actions. By letting go of any guilt or responsibility for their feelings, you reclaim your emotional freedom and open the door to a brighter future filled with respect, peace, and dignity. Your sense of worth is a deeply personal and intrinsic part of who you are. It is the foundation of your identity, confidence, and the way you navigate the world. One of the most empowering realizations you can have is that your worth is defined by you, not by others' opinions, actions, or judgment. This understanding is essential because it gives you the power to maintain your dignity and self-respect regardless of external circumstances. Too often, people allow others to diminish their value through criticism, neglect, or disrespect. This can happen subtly or overtly, and it chips away at self-esteem over time. When you let others define your worth, you become vulnerable to their biases and limitations, which may have nothing to do with your true character or potential. Recognizing that your worth is yours to define means reclaiming control over your self-image. It means affirming your strengths, honoring your boundaries, and refusing to internalize negative messages from others. This process requires conscious effort and self-reflection, but ultimately leads to greater resilience and confidence. Your worth is not tied to achievements, appearances, or approval from others. It is inherent and unconditional. This distinction is vital because it frees you from the endless pursuit of validation. When you accept that you are enough as you are, you no longer feel compelled to prove yourself or seek approval to feel valued. Maintaining this belief can be challenging, especially when faced with people who intentionally or unintentionally try to undermine you. They may project their insecurities or prejudices onto you, but their perspective does not define your reality. By holding firm to your own understanding of your worth, you create a protective shield against their negativity. It's also important to nurture your worth through self-compassion and positive self-talk. The way you speak to yourself influences how you feel about yourself. Encouraging and affirming your value strengthens your self-worth and makes it less susceptible to being shaken by outside forces. Your worth also guides the standards you set for how others treat you. When you know your value, you demand respect and kindness and walk away from those who fail to provide it. This is a crucial step in preserving your dignity and ensuring that your relationships are healthy and supportive. In times of doubt, it helps to remind yourself of your unique qualities and contributions. Reflect on your talents, your kindness, your resilience, and the ways you enrich the lives of those around you. These reflections serve as a powerful anchor that keeps you grounded in your worth. Remember that defining your own worth is an ongoing journey. Life's challenges, setbacks, and criticisms may test your belief in yourself, but each time you reaffirm your value, you grow stronger. This self-defined worth becomes a source of empowerment that influences every aspect of your life. Ultimately, your worth is a personal truth that no one can take away unless you allow it. By owning your dignity and refusing to let others diminish you, you set the stage for a life lived with confidence, purpose, and authenticity. Setting boundaries is one of the most crucial acts of self-care and self-respect you can practice. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define how others can treat you and what behavior you consider acceptable or unacceptable. Without clear boundaries, your dignity can easily be compromised, as you may allow people to overstep, disrespect, or take advantage of you without realizing it. Boundaries create a safe space where your emotional, mental, and physical well-being are protected. They serve as a filter that helps you decide what you will tolerate and what you will reject. This protection is not about building walls or pushing people away, but about preserving your integrity and sense of self. When you set boundaries, you send a powerful message to others about your worth. You communicate that you respect yourself enough to insist on fair treatment and that you will not settle for anything less. This message often commands respect in return, leading to healthier, more balanced relationships. Many people struggle with setting boundaries because they fear confrontation, rejection, or being seen as difficult. However, not setting boundaries often results in deeper problems like resentment, burnout, and loss of self-esteem. It is far more empowering to express your limits clearly and calmly than to suffer in silence or accept mistreatment. Setting boundaries also involves knowing yourself, deeply understanding your values, limits, and triggers. This self-awareness enables you to articulate your needs clearly and assertively. When you know what you stand for, you can navigate relationships and situations with confidence and clarity. It's important to remember that boundaries are flexible and can evolve as you grow. What felt acceptable at one point may no longer serve you, and that's okay. Reassessing and adjusting your boundaries is a healthy part of maintaining your dignity and well-being. Implementing boundaries requires practice and sometimes courage. It might involve difficult conversations or saying no to people you care about, but each time you honor your boundaries, you reinforce your self-respect and teach others how to treat you. Healthy boundaries also foster mutual respect and trust. When others understand your limits and see you uphold them consistently, they are more likely to respect your feelings and needs. This mutual understanding builds stronger, more authentic connections. Without boundaries, you risk losing sight of who you are and what you deserve. People may impose their expectations or demands on you, leading to feelings of confusion, frustration, and diminished self-worth. Boundaries act as a compass that keeps you aligned with your true self. Ultimately, setting boundaries is essential for protecting your dignity. It empowers you to take control of your life, prioritize your happiness, and cultivate relationships that honor and uplift you. Growth is an essential part of life, a continuous journey of learning, evolving, and becoming the best version of yourself. However, growth is rarely comfortable or easy. Often, it demands that we step out of our comfort zones, challenge old patterns, and let go of what no longer serves us. This can mean leaving behind familiar people, places, habits, or situations that have defined us but now limit our potential. The act of leaving is not about abandonment, but about creating space for new opportunities, perspectives, and experiences. When we cling to what is comfortable or familiar, Even if it is unhealthy or stagnant, we stunt our growth. Walking away becomes a necessary step towards self-discovery and personal transformation. Leaving something behind can feel like a loss, and it often comes with mixed emotions: fear, sadness, guilt, or uncertainty. These feelings are natural because change disrupts our sense of security. Yet, embracing this discomfort is a sign of strength and courage. It shows that you value your growth and are willing to face the unknown to achieve it. Sometimes the people we grow with remain part of our lives, but other times, growth means outgrowing relationships that no longer align with our values or goals. Recognizing when a connection is holding you back is crucial. True growth is supported by relationships that inspire, challenge, and uplift you, not those that drain or diminish you. Leaving familiar patterns also includes habits, mindsets, and environments that limit your progress. This could mean breaking free from self-doubt, negative self-talk, or toxic environments that have shaped your reality. Growth requires a willingness to confront these internal and external barriers head-on. The process of leaving is deeply personal and often involves reflection and self-awareness. It requires asking yourself difficult questions: what is holding me back? What no longer aligns with my true self? What do I need to let go of to move forward? Answering these questions honestly guides you toward meaningful change. It's important to remember that growth is not linear. Sometimes leaving something behind is only the beginning of a longer journey that includes setbacks and adjustments. Being patient and compassionate with yourself during this process ensures that you remain committed to your path. Walking away for growth also means trusting yourself and your intuition. You might not have all the answers or see the entire path ahead, but believing in your ability to navigate the unknown empowers you to take that first step. This trust builds resilience and prepares you for the challenges and triumphs that lie ahead. As you grow and evolve, you may find that your definition of success, happiness, and fulfillment changes. Leaving what no longer serves you allows you to realign your life with your evolving values and aspirations, creating a more authentic and satisfying existence. Ultimately, growth often requires leaving a bold and necessary act that honors your journey toward becoming the fullest expression of yourself. It is a declaration that you are ready to embrace change, face discomfort, and move forward with intention and hope. Walking away from someone or something that no longer serves your best interests can be one of the most liberating decisions you make. Although it can be painful in the moment, this choice often marks the beginning of a new chapter filled with greater opportunities, personal growth, and healthier connections. Your future becomes brighter when you release what dims your light and embrace the possibilities that lie ahead. When you walk away with dignity, you reclaim control over your life and open space for positive changes. Holding onto people or situations that drain your energy or undermine your self-worth restricts your potential. By letting go, you free yourself from those limitations and create room for experiences that nurture your growth and happiness. New opportunities arise when you step away from toxic environments or unfulfilling relationships. These opportunities can manifest in various ways: career advancements, friendships that uplift you, or personal discoveries that deepen your understanding of yourself. Walking away is not an end but a beginning, a gateway to paths you might never have considered before. Healthier relationships are often the most rewarding outcome of walking away. When you remove yourself from negativity and disrespect, you attract people who respect, support, and appreciate you for who you are. These positive connections enrich your life and contribute to your emotional well-being and personal fulfillment. Your future without them is also brighter because you gain clarity, Distance from past conflicts or disappointments allows you to see your life with fresh eyes. This clarity helps you identify what you truly want and deserve, guiding you to make choices aligned with your values and goals. Walking away encourages self-discovery and empowerment. It pushes you to rely on your inner strength and intuition. This self-reliance builds confidence and resilience, essential qualities for navigating life's challenges and pursuing your dreams. It's important to recognize that the process of moving forward may include moments of doubt or loneliness. These feelings are natural as you adjust to change. However, holding on to hope and focusing on the positive possibilities ahead can sustain you through these times. By choosing to walk away, you also set a powerful example for others. You demonstrate the importance of self-respect and the courage to prioritize your well-being. This can inspire those around you to evaluate their own lives and make changes that lead to healthier, happier futures. Your future is brighter without them because you are no longer tied to patterns of pain, disappointment, or unfulfilled potential. Instead, you embrace growth, healing, and joy. Each step forward brings you closer to a life that reflects your true worth and aspirations. Remember, walking away is not about bitterness or revenge, but about choosing a path of dignity, peace, and hope. It signals your readiness to leave behind what no longer serves you and to welcome a future filled with promise and possibility. Ultimately, your future shines brighter when you walk away with dignity because you honor yourself and open the door to new beginnings that celebrate your strength, resilience, and worth. In closing, remember this: walking away with dignity is not a sign of defeat, it is the ultimate act of self-respect. It is choosing your peace, your worth, and your future over the pain of being undervalued or mistreated. When you walk away, you send a message that you will no longer settle for less than you deserve. And make no mistake, those who fail to see your value will come to regret what they lost, but that regret is theirs to carry, not yours. Hold your head high, honor your worth, and trust in your strength. Because when you walk away with dignity, you are not walking into emptiness, you are stepping boldly into a brighter, freer, and more fulfilling life. And in that life, you will find the respect, love, and happiness that you truly deserve. So walk away strong, walk away with your dignity intact, because in the end they will regret everything, but you will have gained everything.